This is the way we're used to women getting our attention, putting on full display all the jiggles. Yes, the twerk. If you're a kid of the 80s, you remember this group. They were a big deal. New Edition was a big deal. Let me tell you something. If you're not a kid of the 80s, New Edition was a big deal, okay? So when they broke up, that was a really big deal. So you see Bobby Brown. Bobby Brown is in the blue jacket, and then you see Ralph Transvant. He's right in the back with the red shirt, and those were the two feature guys. But the other three guys went into their own group, and they made Belle Biv DeVoe, which made the song called Poison. And let me tell you something. This song was a really big deal, okay? And in the song, there's the lyric, "Never trust a big butt and a smile. That girl is poison." That's the lyric, right? So when you look around you now, what do we see? We see the big butts, right? And we are kind of acculturated, especially recently, because I can remember a time when there's a level of discreetness where, you would not put your goodies on full display, but that era clearly is over. And of course, when you put stuff like this out, guys just come out like, "Oh gosh, look at that. Yeah. And the thirst is real. But in our culture, we've gotten used to, I think it's just the cultural norm now that you young ladies, they display their full sexuality. And this one, she's not even dancing. She's just showing her behind, right? And that is just the norm for us. Now, I'm going to talk about comparing that to what I think might be the new big booty. That overt sexuality, right? Where, it's the shake what your mama gave you, like jiggle up and down, twerk it, all of that, right? It doesn't leave a lot to the imagination. You can see that kind of dance, and it basically lets you know what you can expect, right? The opposite of that, of course, would be a more suggestive method where it's like, I'll show you a little bit just enough to tempt you, and then, okay, that's all, unless you're the guy for me, and then, you can get the full whatever. And so, here guys really like the cosplay, to each their own, but she's not really jiggling. She's not really jumping up and down. What she's doing is saying, look, this is me being a soft little woman, female girl-like, and I'm going to tease you with the eyes and the dimples, whatever, and whatever. Or you see another one. This is people here, like the schoolgirl thing, people here, but especially in the nurse thing or the maid thing, that whatever, to each his own. But you can see again, her appeal is not, look at how I can shake up and down. Look at you don't see in either of these pictures, you don't see any dancing. You don't even see anything that's a sexual type movement. It's all suggestive. Like, you see what I'm looking like? If you like it, come and approach me, right? It's almost cat-like, right? And for us, as the way that we're kind of acculturated, we're not really used to seeing the cat-like femininity type. Oh, look at me, I want you to come after me, but I'm not going to show you all of my goodies unless you're my guy, right? So this is the opposite of what we're kind of used to. So let me show you what I think is the kind of ideal quote unquote combination. Before I show you 4 people with the same commonality, I want you to watch this BBC video, or at least a clip of it.
She looks like an aspiring supermodel, but this young woman is something a little more special. Ariana Miyamoto is the first mixed-race woman ever to win the title Miss Japan.
Okay, so she's going to speak, and I want you to pay really good attention to her mannerisms.
Ariana is what is known here as a hafu, not foreign, but not fully Japanese either.
I've lived in Japan all my life, but if I say I'm Japanese, people reply, "No, you can't be." They don't believe it. It sounds strange, but for us mixed kids, we need this word hafu.
Okay, so she's half, I don't want to,
It gives us
that's better. That's a better picture. But she's a half young lady, right? So half means you're half Japanese, half something else. And, you know, Japan is adapting slowly. So as of this video, this is probably about 8 or 9 years previous. 2015, yeah, 7 years previous, 8. And for half kids, it's kind of a stigma that's kind of slowly fading away because, well, I'll show you why it's fading away, to be honest with you. It's fading away because there's so many darn successful half kids they're balling. So this Rui Hachimura in the NBA, he's balling, right? It would be different if half people weren't really, you know, winning anything, or they're kind of a drag on society. But I mean, he's like the 4th Japanese player to make the NBA. And then there's Ariana Miyamoto, who wins Miss Japan. And then there's, you know, there's the megastar. There's Osaka Naomi, right? I mean, there's no Grand Slam championship in this country without this young lady. But when I told you about the mannerisms, remember when you think about how Osaka Naomi acts or carries herself during her press conferences, it's very ladylike. It's very soft-spoken, right? And then there's Asuka Cambridge, another. He's a sprinter on the 4x100 team that won the 4x100 relay, or the second place behind Usain Bolt's sprinting team the year that America dropped the baton, right? And the commonality is they're all half, right? And so for the guys, they take on kind of male Japanese characteristics in their personality, and for the two young ladies, they have very, you know, Japanese type characteristics. And so this leads me to what I'm saying is the new quote unquote big butt. So what I suggested in the video title is that for most of the black guys, we have grown up being appealed to in a sexual manner. And I think as you start seeing this new phase of the Passport Bros movement, where you're starting to have guys that are gaining their footing financially overseas, and they're building brands. When you're building a brand, you need a woman that's going to be an asset. And I think a great example of that is Andre and Andrea Love Crossing Borders. He found a woman that's an asset to his business. So when they go to a party, she can work the room in his favor. And I think that is where this is going. I think guys need women that are going to be women that can go in public and represent their brand. And so what before was the I want a big butt and a smile turns into something that probably looks like this. Now this is another half of a young lady, and you can see that she's not jiggling, she's not showing you all of her goodies. It's very reserved, and she's teasing you again, like you saw in the earlier TikToks, right? And that acculturation comes from just growing up in a culture that doesn't teach young girls to jump up and shake their booty everywhere. And so you see, if you are a guy who's getting your theme together and you want someone on your arm, like Kevin Samuels would say, fit, feminine, friendly, you're probably going to look in a direction that looks a lot like this. So with that said, I think that the taste in Passport Bros is going to evolve, because you're going to see guys that get it together, and they're going to want not just a hottie, but a hottie that can add to their brand, and not just the big butt. That said, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and catch you in the next video. Later, guys.